Joining us now is Daniel Kastner. He is the creator and founder of the oncoming new social media app, Ruva, and he joins us now to talk about that on the MegaCast. Daniel, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Tyler. Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity.
So tell us a little bit about this app. It's projected to launch sometime this month. When do you expect that it will launch, and what is it all about?
Yeah, we're hoping to launch at the end of the month. Sometimes you're working with software, and there can be tough delays, but we need to make sure that the app is working 100% correctly before we, release it to the general public. So what we're doing is we are trying to reinvent what a social media site can look like by creating a healthier design. And some of this app, the idea for this app was created after seeing a documentary called The Social Dilemma, and it partly focuses on if are other social media sites designed to be addictive or bad for our mental health. And, there's lots of news coming out that is pointing in this direction. So I thought, can we reimagine what a social media site can be and remove all of the addictive elements? So that's kind of the core of the design with Ruva.
So what are some of those quote-unquote addictive elements? Because you mentioned that's kind of the purpose or the inspiration behind making these apps, but not the general person that's using these social media may not understand what they're engaging with that is addicting, or that they are being subjected to addiction to these media altogether.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good question. If I asked you, why should you use Ruva, you might have to decide first if there's some issue with other social media sites that you're using. So there's a lot of different things going into the design of some other websites and some other social media sites that the research is pointing towards that it's addictive. The easiest one to point to is how your news feed works. So think of it this way. When you open some other social media apps, it's essentially random what you see when you open the app. Think about it. If you open something like Instagram, you can't really tell me what you're going to see before you open it. And so with Ruva, so on the addiction part, what has come out is that these were actually designed like casino slot machines. So you kind of get this, what they would call a dopamine hit every time you open, because you don't even know what you're going to get. And it causes people to go back on the app and refresh over and over. So with Ruva, we reinvented what a news feed could look like. So you have expectations and control over what you're going to see. One other thing I would mention is there's something called infinite scrolling. So on a lot of other social media sites, almost every single one that you can use today, there's something they call infinite scrolling, where you're on the site and you can just keep scrolling on your smartphone down and down and down, and there's no places for the app to tell you when to stop. And so with Ruva, we removed infinite scroll. So people will go on these sites and they think they just want to see an update from their friends. And they open the app and all of a sudden 7 or 8 minutes went by, or even longer, and they didn't even realize that lost time. So with Ruva, we're removing that. So you're kind of just going to get to the information you need, and then you can't be infinite scrolling and wasting all this time.
So you mentioned that with Ruva, you'll be able to set an expectation, you'll be able to fulfill an expectation and control what you're going to see from whoever you are following or connected with on that app. What sort of controls will people have to be able to decide what they're going to see? And on top of that, sometimes people are going to these social media to see one thing versus the next. If they're going to Ruva at one point during the day to see something from or updates from their friends, and they come back a couple days later and they're expecting or wanting to see something completely different, how do they get in control of that so they don't fall into the same situations that they do on other social media?
Sure. It should be said that Ruva is designed for your closest friends and family. I see a lot of these other apps are essentially they're networking apps. They're partly designed to help you meet new people. Think of the apps that suggest you to meet new friends, okay? So I actually don't think there's anything wrong with that. We need networking apps. But Ruva is just designed, the way that it's going to work best is for your 10, 20, 30 closest friends and family. And because of that, the control that we're giving people is we're letting people decide in what order do your friends show up on your news feed. So it's not random. It's not being determined by an algorithm. So when you open the app, let's say you put your best friend and your grandma at the top of your feed, you have an idea and an expectation when you use Ruva that when you open the app, your best friend and grandma are always going to be at the top. And we think that's a healthier way to approach staying connected with people.
We're joined by Daniel Kastner. He is the creator and founder of the new social media app, Ruva. You can learn more by visiting their website at Ruva, R-U-V-A .app. That is Ruva.app. Again, R-U-V-A. And this app, inspired by the earlier days of social media, the more personal days of social media, where it was more just connection between very close friends or very close family, people that you really did know well and you wanted to stay connected with. And over time, whether it be for business purposes or just for ambitious purposes, the social media changed. How are you approaching developing Ruva, or have you approached developing Ruva or planning for this to be able to continue to sustain itself into the future without ultimately falling down the same path as some of these other social media, Daniel?
Sure. Well, first I'll mention, one of the things you said about businesses is really interesting to me. So, for example, I know people that are using something like Facebook or Instagram where they do actually have a small business. And what used to be a personal place for them suddenly became a great place for them to advertise their small business, or someone who's became a real estate agent. And so most of their posts are about stuff like that. And I actually think that's a good thing. However, because these networking sites are such a good place for that, I'm not sure there's any good place for people to just keep it about their personal life with their close friends and family. In order to cover the costs, so we have a plan A, which is essentially we want to let people customize their page by adding stickers or sticker packages that they can purchase. And so if that works to kind of cover the costs, then we'll do that. Other ideas are having some kind of subscription service, but we're going to try to avoid that. If you would buy a sticker to put on your profile page, if that would cover the cost, then I think we'd be pretty happy with that.
We're joined by Daniel Kastner. He is the creator and founder of the social media app Ruva. Learn more information at ruva.app. That is ruva.app, their website, where you can learn more information about the app as it eventually does launch, and is expected to launch sometime during the month of November. And so you would mention that part of the inspiration for developing this app was of course, just seeing the way that social media impacts people today, and the way that people interact with social media that is less than preferable in today's world, and so much different than from the early days of social media, but also that that things like the 2020 Netflix documentary, The Social Dilemma, also helped to inspire you to develop this app. What really was one of those last straw kind of moments for you that led to you saying, I need to make this app? Not just that it would be interesting for me, but I need to make this app to try to provide something for people that is different from these other social media, that is more along the lines of the days of old in social media, and so people can get away from some of the more addictive nature of the media that's available to them right now.
Sure, that's a good question. I'm actually not sure there was some particular last straw. I think that it was addictive social media was affecting my life. I think it has affected the lives of some people I know. Not to get too specific, but I think that it was kind of a compounding effect rather than one particular event. One other thing I want to say that people don't know about the app probably is our security model and our safety model is very different from anything else that you've seen. So for example, with Ruva, we don't have any what I call public facing profiles. So this should feel a lot safer for parents who might be thinking about getting their teens and young people online. You know, we live in a digital age. With Ruva, there's actually no way to look you up. You actually have to probably know someone in person, so you won't be getting friend requests from strangers or bots or fake profiles. You should feel very safe on Ruva because of how we've designed our security or our friend system.
So then how will, just to follow that up, Daniel, how will people be able to connect with other people that they know? If they're not going to be able to have that access to search somebody up, find them, and add them on or connect with them on this app, what method will be used to connect with other people through Ruva that prevents some of those other more traditional ways from coming into play?
Sure. Yeah. Well, basically what you'll do is you'll get a private link that just you have, and then you can send that link to your friend or your family member who you want to be connected to on the app, and they can click it, and then that will connect you on the app. It will be a learning curve for some people, but it's so much safer. And then when you have this link, you can actually refresh it at any time, and it'll just throw the old one away. The old one won't work anymore, and you get a new one, you know, in case your private link, you know, got shared somewhere you don't like, something like that. So it'll be a small learning curve, but totally worth it, I think, if you want to be safer online.
We're joined by Daniel Kastner. He is the founder of Ruva, a new social media app that will be launching sometime this month here in November. Find more information on their website at ruva.app. And Daniel, just another couple minutes with you before we'll say goodbye today. Anything else that would be interesting or important for our audience to know about the Ruva app, or where they'll be able to eventually download the app or access the app and start connecting with their close friends, close family through Ruva?
Yeah, I mean, first I just want to say that other sites and other apps that are good for networking, or if you're a content creator, sharing your small business, I mean, I think those apps are still going to exist. Just keep in mind, you know, we're just trying to fill a niche just for your closest friends and family. We're not really an app for content creators. Those entertainment style apps will be there. We're trying to be in a spot where I don't really think anybody else is being there for you. So you should feel really good. I want an app where I'm not worried if it's has addictive design or is bad for my mental health. When I use Ruva, I want to feel like it's not trying to manipulate me. I understand everything that's going on. And I should feel really good about using it. If you're unsure about if the apps and social media sites you're using could be bad for your mental health or might be addictive, I just encourage you to search, figure it out for yourself, and that might help you decide if you need an app like Ruva in your life.
Daniel, we appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.